What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Justice League Unlimited, issue number 2, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora. This is actually going to be the final comic book review of 2024, and what a year it's been for all the comic book videos. I think I did more this year than I did like any other year beforehand. Maybe I did some last year more. I don't know. It's kind of tough to keep track anymore of how many comic book videos I do. Actually, I think maybe 2023 I might have did more because I did that whole entire Night Terrors event, which was so many comic book reviews, and I just kind of like burnt myself out. And after that, I was like, I'm done with big events. So maybe last year I did a little bit more. I don't know. It's tough to kind of keep track sometimes. But yes, this is the final comic book review for 2024, but don't worry, because like the first of the year, more new comic book stuff is going to be coming out, and we'll certainly be talking about those when they release. So looking forward to all that stuff. But yes, so I figured, you know what, I had a bunch of comic books to cover for DC and all that too, and I figured I'd probably just finish off with Justice League Unlimited. Like, what a better way to kind of encapsulate the comic book year. And also, let's go on a more positive note, because 2024 has been kind of a wild year, all things considered, all the crazy stuff that's happened this year. And I will be doing a final end of the year video, which will probably come out I'll probably do it like Monday then. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. I don't exactly know, but I kind of want to do like one final kind of sort of like farewell of sorts video for the year. But anyways, let's get to that in a second. But this is the last comic book review of the year, and I think overall I did enjoy this issue. I do have some gripes, and mainly in that issue 1 of Justice League Unlimited ended with that whole airwave cliffhanger. Like, that was like the big, like, oh man, this character that we spent the time as kind of the intro sorts to the issue really wants to kind of like kill the Justice League for reasons and seems kind of bad about it. And in this issue, we don't really get much in terms of like airwave. Like, the character has like one panel. Is like, then why did you really end the first issue on that if you're really going to follow up with that immediately? Because that's such a big, bold kind of cliffhanger ending to have it. And well, not necessarily bold, like a more so like a big kind of exciting cliffhanger. And then the next issue, you're just kind of like, they're kind of more of an afterthought. Let's kind of set up some other books, which this book does spend some time kind of setting up a few other things. And there is some other stuff going on here, too. The thing I like the most about this issue, I think, is the stuff with Martian Manhunter and Dr. Occult is his name. I'm not too familiar with the character, but one thing I do like about Justice League Unlimited, I think this is something Mark Waid did say in an interview, was kind of having some of the more like kind of founding members of the Justice League, and also kind of giving some of the more niche like DC characters a little bit of time to shine. And, you know, Dr. Occult's like a character I don't really know much about, I'll be honest, because like I said, they don't really appear in things, and I kind of like that idea and concept to kind of give some of the lesser known characters a little bit more kind of time to shine, because Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they're in plenty of stuff, and it's time to let other characters kind of get some more of the spotlight. But this issue, kind of like I predicted the last time, it does involve the parademons. As you can see, Blue Beetle and Batman discovered a nest, and one thing I kind of liked about this too is one of the parademons actually isn't just kind of a mindless zombie. There's actually some kind of intelligence going on, like a little bit more sentience with the character, and when they do discover it, it is kind of interesting. And also, we got some stuff going on here with the Atom, because after the events of Absolute Power, a lot of the powers became kind of scrambled, which is pretty much the exact same thing that happened in the Lazarus Planet storyline with Mark Waid and all that too, after the events of like Batman versus Robin, and a lot of the powers became scattered, and now we're kind of doing the same thing again, because they didn't really do much to kind of follow up with that. But here the Atom finds a way to kind of get his powers back. Airwave, like I said, is just there for like one panel. It's like, why was that character the big kind of like ending cliff note if they're not going to really do much? It feels kind of disappointment. I did like seeing some of the team-ups right here. We get Wonder Woman and Mary Marvel, and of course Dan Mora's artwork is just utterly fantastic. The man is arguably the best artist at DC, definitely one of the top, within the top 5 for sure. There's no questions asked. And the fact that he's able to draw this and Superman in the same month, like, and be this level of quality, is really astounding. But I think, too, one of the things Dr. Occult and Martian Manhunter are teaming up, I think, is pretty good. But we're also kind of seeing that John Jones is feeling the effects of the whole Absolute Power thing. A lot of his powers didn't quite come back, and that's why he's kind of needed Dr. Occult to kind of fill in the gaps. But he's kind of worried that with his powers like gone, that he's going to feel, I guess, more alien with the team, like, because he doesn't have all the abilities to kind of find these missing children been kidnapped by the parademons, and he feels he's going to be kind of kicked off or kind of given like less importance. So he's been definitely affected more than some, but kind of having these two kind of team up with each other, I think, is pretty cool. They do find the parademon, and this parademon's a lot more intelligent. Basically, he was kind of sent to Earth, and as a means to kind of sort of recruit and do some sort of shenanigans for Darkseid. And he comes to find out that Darkseid is dead, and he's kind of angry, like, do you know what it's like? This is not fair, to be torn from your home against your will, imprisoned and abandoned to another planet in years. Can you imagine my suffering? Martian Manhunter absolutely snaps here, and I kind of like seeing the rage from John, because this character, this parademon, who has some more like kind of sentience and intelligence, just kind of snapped. And John was kind of the same deal. He was kind of ripped away from his home planet. Like, he lost like so much, and now he's here on Earth. But John Jones didn't do the terrible things that this parademon's doing. Like, he's kind of mad, like, you're trying to justify your actions for kidnapping kids, and he just snaps at him, and the only thing that kind of stops him is like Wonder Woman's lasso. It's kind of like, he's like, you want to see a monster? You're a monster, look at yourself. So I like the stuff with Martian Manhunter quite a bit in this thing, seeing a little bit more rage with him, seeing him kind of lose his cool a little bit here. It's not stuff you typically see from Jon Jones. He's typically one of the more like characters kind of in control. Like, he's a little bit more calm, but like here we see a like kind of a ragefulness that's not really there all the time, and he kind of feels like without his powers he's not really like, it almost like he feels more isolated, more useless, and he doesn't want to kind of have that feeling. So I like the stuff with him. He kind of goes off into the snow to just kind of be, I guess, invisible for the time being. But like I said, the stuff with Martian Manhunter is pretty good. I just think, based on the way the last issue ended, and not like that huge like kind of airwave cliffhanger, not having him do much. I mean, we have some more stuff kind of like off to the sides. With him, he has literally just one panel where he's kind of eavesdropping in on some like plans going on in the Watchtower, but kind of want a little bit more with him in this thing, because like I said, you don't end the first big issue on this cliffhanger, and it just feels kind of off to not do anything like immediately. I'm sure it's going to be followed up at some point, but like I said, in terms of the pacing of the story, it's like, wow, we have this big revelation, what do we do? We just kind of forgot about it. Just let's go to this other storyline too. So maybe again he wanted to kind of do some all in one issue, but there's just not enough real estate. But yeah, I still liked this issue overall. I thought it was a pretty solid one. I really like the stuff with Martian Manhunter, and I like seeing some of these different heroes kind of come together to team up that you don't normally see. And I think using this book to kind of give some of the characters who don't always get the screen time necessary, I think, is a good idea. You keep the main players in there, but you also give kind of some other characters a chance, ones who don't really get the love. And who knows, maybe it might be like the animated Justice League Unlimited series, which was a great series, by the way, where a character like the Question gets a lot of screen time, and I thought, like, other lesser known characters as well were given a chance to shine, especially like the Question. Like, he ended up being like one of my favorite parts of the cartoon and all that, the way he was able to kind of crack the code on certain things. So there's some good stuff in here for sure, like beautiful artwork by Dan Mora. And I think, like I said, if you like the first issue, you're generally going to like this one, and if you like maybe like the Justice League cartoons, I think you will probably get into this one as well. I just think, like, in terms of like pacing from the previous issue, ending it on that cliffhanger and then just not doing anything with Airwave, it just felt kind of off to me, because like I said, the character does appear in this thing, but it's really just for one page, and I kind of was hoping we get more of a follow-up in this issue. But again, pushing that aside, I still think this was a pretty solid issue overall, and a nice issue to kind of end the year on. So it's, kind of standard fare with a lot of the stuff with the Justice League, fighting different villains and all that too, but I think the stuff with Martian Manhunter in particular was the strongest aspect of it. And like I said, I like seeing Jon Jones get more to the focus this time around, because Batman, Superman, and all that, I see him in so many other books, like Batman. My goodness, I've lost track of how many Batman related books there are out there, so I don't really need him to kind of be at the forefront of everything. I'd like to see some of these other characters shine a little bit more too. So same thing with Superman and all that too, because they're in other books as well, but they are the Trinity, the flagship characters of DC, and letting us, some of these other characters get more time to shine, I think it was a good thing. But anyways, what did you think of the issue? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notification, all the other fun stuff. And thank you all so much for following the channel for this past year. Maybe not the strongest year, definitely a lot of ups and downs for sure. But I do appreciate all the comments on all the different comic book reviews and everything. I think it's been a pretty good, time. Like, there's some good stuff this year for comic books. Like, I think in terms of like all the stuff we've kind of gotten as of late. Like I said, there's some pretty solid stuff for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 brings. I don't know if it'll be as hype as 2024, 2023, or some of the other stuff, but I think there definitely was a lot more good comics than bad comics, at least in terms of what I've covered on here. Now, there's definitely some stinkers here and there, but I think overall, I think the vibe was a little bit more positive. Maybe I'll do more comic book related videos. Maybe I'll do less. I don't exactly know what 2025 will bring, but I do appreciate everybody for kind of sticking around and watching this stuff this past year. It certainly means a lot. And yeah, that's it. No more comic book reviews for 2024. But 2025 is just around the corner, really only a few days from now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings. So thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.